Today I'm making this cool iridescent creamy bath whip in Blackberry scent, so stick with me to find out how you make it yourself. Here's the formula for a 500 gram batch. You can also view this in the blog post that's linked below. First, in a heatproof beaker, take your stearic acid. This gives it texture and also firms it up slightly, and it's very good for the skin. And to that I'm adding a little bit of shea butter. This is a humectant and moisturises the skin. And then our emulsifying wax. I am using emulsifying wax. You can use another one if you prefer, but avoid BTMS 50 as it's incompatible with the surfactants. Then I'm adding fractionated coconut oil. You can use any oil or butter you like, or just oil or just butter, completely up to you. Take that and put it aside because we're going to heat that up. Next, take your water in another heatproof beaker and add your glycerin. If you prefer, you can use propendile, it's completely up to you again. So add that in and then just give it a quick stir, and then we'll put that aside while we do our next phase. The third phase we need to heat is our surfactants. This just helps the SCI to dissolve properly. So take your beaker full of SCI, make sure you're wearing a respirator because you don't want to breathe this stuff in, and add your cocamidal propyl betaine, and then give that a stir until it sort of makes a paste. And then once you've got that paste, you are ready to heat your 3 phases. So first you need to weigh your water phase, beaker and all, just to make sure you can then replace any water that evaporates during the heating process, and heat all 3 of your phases separately. You want to heat them until the stearic acid is completely melted, and you'll see the beaker with the SCI is significantly softened after the process. And then check they're all roughly the same temperature before moving to the next phase. So now you've taken them off the heat, they've all melted down, they're all roughly the same temperature. You want to pour your water phase into your stearic acid and oils, and then just give that a quick little stir. And then once that's combined, we're going to add our surfactants to this. So get your beaker with your surfactants, and then just you might need a spatula for this to get all out the beaker, and just add this in so that your phases A, B and C are all now mixed in the same beaker, and give it a quick stir. Don't worry if it's a bit lumpy at the moment, we're going to rectify that. So get yourself a bowl, it'd be much easier to do in a bowl with a batch this size. Pour it into the bowl, and then what we're going to do is get a hand mixer, just a normal sort of kitchen mixer, but make sure it's dedicated to cosmetics because you don't want to cross-contaminate. And we're going to whip it up to get a lovely light fluffy texture. Use a spatula in between just to get everything off the sides of the bowl to make sure that everything's completely combined. And what we'll need to do is leave this to cool to about 40 degrees C. You'll find it does that pretty quickly after you've whipped it, so that you can then add your cool down ingredients. Once it's cooled, add your preservative. I do recommend phenoxyethanol EHG, although I am using a different one here because I didn't have any left. Then fragrance oil and vitamin E, and just add those all in and give that a mix with the spatula to start with. Then you can add your kaolin clay. This helps to give the skin a lovely feel. It's just brilliant in bath products like this, so I highly recommend it. And you'll need to whip this in with your hand mixer again, and just do that until that's thoroughly combined, and again use your spatula to get the product off the sides, and then we'll move on to the next stage. To get that lovely iridescent sort of colour that I've got, what I'm going to do is divide the mix into 3 and colour it with 3 different neon pigments. So I'm going to use neon green, neon pink and neon purple, but just in very small amounts, because if you use neons in very small amounts, what you get are lovely pastel colours, and that's what we're looking for, because that's what gives the kind of iridescent look when they're all mixed together. Once you've added each of the colours, then you can whip that up. Quick tip, I didn't do that here and I should have done, is just blend the pigment with a tiny bit of oil before you add it, because it just helps it disperse a bit better. But other than that, yeah, it's quite easy to work with. Once you've whipped the colour in, just get your spatula out and make sure that it's fully combined and you haven't got any parts that are too pigmented and others that don't have any at all. And then you're ready to put this in your piping bag. Alternatively, if you don't want to pipe this, you can just layer it in. It's completely up to you. Piping gives you more of that iridescent effect, so I recommend it. What I've done here is get a piping bag and cut the end off and open it up. And then I'm just going to layer the colours one after the other in little stripes, because this is what gives you that iridescent effect when it's piped. Once you've got all your colours there, then you can get your full piping bag. And I'm using a ball tip nozzle. You can get these online. They look quite pretty. That's the reason I use them. They're good for videos. Just make sure you knock the air out afterwards, otherwise people will say that there's air in the middle. People do like pointing that out. So put the bag in your other piping bag and twist and get your container, and then you're ready to pipe. There you go, there was your bit of piping ASMR for you. I know how people love that. I didn't overfill too much because I will actually be using these. So next, like I said, with this piping nozzle, you do need to just tap the bottom, knock the air out, do it a little bit more than I did if you're selling them, and top them off. Make sure you are weighing them if you are selling them, because you want people to get the exact weight that they're paying for. As you can see, it's given this really nice iridescent effect. It actually looks a lot nicer in person. But anyway, let's do the foam test. You can see how lovely and creamy this is. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so nice. And the nice thing about this as well is it doesn't really harden up and crumble like some sort of whipped soap base can. It'll stay exactly this texture for as long as you've got it. And it foams really nicely. So yeah, just have a go, because I think you'll really like it. It's much nicer than the whipped soap bases, even though it technically isn't soap. So if you are selling it, name it something like bath whip, foaming bath cream, whatever you like. Yeah, I'll get on to proper whipped soap at a later date. I hope you like this video. If you try the formula, let me know in the comments below. It's all written in the blog that's linked in the description. Please check out my other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, means a lot, and I do have a Patreon if you want more exclusive content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.